but you need to talk.
And we're
And
live
we're live.
again.
Hi.
Hi. Well, welcome
Hello.
everyone. We already have 15 people live, which is amazing. So we are super excited. Today it's packed with value, and we have a really nice guest that we love. I'll introduce her just in a minute. But for the first, if this is your first time, my name is Ignacio. I'll be your host. I'm part of the Kiflo team, and I have Tom with me, also from the Kiflo team. He will be the moderator, taking care of all the questions in the chat. So this is the first kind of like announcement. Please do. I encourage you to ask questions during the session for our guest in the chat right whenever you want. Okay, that's gonna be. And also the format of the session is a rapid fire Q&A session. So we'll be having a conversation with the guest, and you can also have your questions answered during the topic. Okay, we won't wait until the end. Okay, so today we already have like 21 people. Maybe I'll give an extra minute, but while we wait, maybe you can already give us an idea of who you are and what's your role. We want to know what's your current role. So if you're a partner manager, if you are a consultant, if you're a partner director, or anything, just let us know in the chat what's your current
Mm-hmm.
role. So we have a
I
lot of
thought you were talking
people.
about me.
I'll
I said, you
introduce
don't
you in
know
a
my
second,
role? You
Eva.
Not
invited me.
yet. Not
I'll
yet.
introduce you in a second. So we have VP of Channel, we have Head of Channel and Partnerships. Hey, Kevin. Hey, Alicia, Partnership Lead. Ruben, Partner Directory. Ursula, it's a Partner Marketing Manager. Love it. Sam, it's a Channel Lead from the UK. Hey, Sam. Susan, Partner Manager. Jean-Claude, Head of Channel and Partnerships. Christopher, it's Head of Strategic Partnerships and Business Growth. And Jasper, Partnerships. So Eva, I mean, a lot of people that are actually from
Great.
either
Yeah.
partnerships or
Partnerships.
ecosystem and the ecosystem
Mm,
community.
very good.
We have partnerships alliances. Hey, Andy. Hey, Pratishuria. Well, I think that we have already close to 30 people, so I'll introduce you today. We have the pleasure of having Eva Fayemi. Eva is a partner of us. We love her, and she's a co-founder and CEO of Bond Agency and has more than 80 years of experience helping SaaS companies grow their partnership revenue and scaling their partner program. So, Eva, thank you again for being here with us today.
Yeah, my pleasure. It's great to be with you guys. I love Kiflo as well. I love the team. And I think we have a lot to talk about today.
Yes, we do.
I think the fact that so
Absolutely.
many people registered mean that this topic is of interest. So yeah, I'm very curious to hear comments in the chat and just talk about everything. And if I can help and provide my knowledge, that's what I'll do, of course, today.
Amazing, and you will, because you have a lot to share from your experience, and also just to be clear on this, everyone that registered to the session will receive the ebook from Eva. So that wait for that in your emails in the coming days, and also everyone will receive the recording right after the session. So if you're watching this recorded, we will like to have you live, because also as a special bonus when you join live today, everyone that attended live will have the chance to win a session with Eva as well. So Eva is going to pick a lucky winner, and they will get a free partnership audit session with Eva. So also keep an eye on that for the email and the winner. Okay. So one thing that we can do to start, maybe we can bring up the poll,
Mhm.
Tom, and because we need
Yep,
your
absolutely.
help from everyone that is live now. We want to know exactly how much revenue are you driving through partnerships. Okay, so it could be zero, it's just starting 0 to 10, 10 to 30, 30 plus, which means that you're doing great. Okay, or you're not sure. So this will give an idea to Eva of where you're at now. So 30 plus, 43, 30. Oh, it's tied now. 10 to 30, 30 plus. It's well, okay, okay. So
This
let's
is
give it
moving
a couple of
fast.
one more.
Mm.
Lots of votes. I see lots of votes. People are
I'm not
voting.
sure it's getting closer and closer. So
Uh, I guess that
Yeah.
now it's more like between 10 and 30, and then the second one is 30 plus. But let's give it
Hmm.
one more minute. Now it's clearly winning 10 to 30. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think that that gives you an
Okay.
idea, Eva, of where people are. I think that close to
Hmm.
50% are between 10 to 30, and then 20% are more than
Yeah.
30. Okay. So
Okay. Cool. That's good.
today we have a lot of things to cover with Eva, but maybe we can jump to the first subtopic, which is the internal buying. I mean, this is essential. This is how you actually kind of like break, because the topic today is attracting unqualified partners with zero impact and how to break that cycle. So the internal buying is
Yeah.
probably that what you need to start with, and the alignment, right, Eva?
Yes, 100%. So I think it shows a little bit today the poll, right? So people here listening, they are already doing partnerships. There are a lot of head of partnerships, partnership managers. But your leadership, your CEO, your CRO, they want more out of it. So more revenue, more this, more that. That's often what is the scenario here. More revenue through new partners, existing partners. It's diverse. But the first important step, and if we really take it to rewinding the situation a little bit, is what is the partnerships culture within your company, and is there a good understanding of what we want to achieve with partnerships? What are the goals we want to achieve, and are we measuring these goals across the board? I'm a firm believer that uh, partnerships that drive revenue and that are successful are the ones that are being done strategically. And so that means that you need to have the tough discussion sometimes with the people who are saying like we want 50% revenue out of partnerships in X amount of years. The question to ask is how we're going to get there. What are the resources that are being implemented internally for me to make my job successful? And I call this the partnership culture because it's tied into the fact that some the let's say the CEO or the CRO or think that partnerships and partners are just a way to drive leads.
Mhm.
Partners equal source of leads. Well, that's the first thing that I think is important to deconstruct in an organization, to see partners as a true enabler of growth and as a true partner. Like the sense of partnerships is for me working together and collaborating in order to generate beautiful things together. So, yeah, I think that's like the first step for me is that.
Super clear. And Eva, I have a follow-up question on that, because when it comes to alignment, we see a lot of people struggle to get kind of like also the approval for budgets, for instance, to get into kind of like more deep dive into partnerships. So from your experience with your clients, how do you see that that is kind of like, I would say, some tools that you've seen that work in terms of like convincing the CROs, the CEOs that actually
Mhm.
partnership, they need to double down on that?
Yeah, so the first thing is that you need to sell partnerships, or you need to sell your idea. You need to sell what you're doing. You cannot just come in and say, oh, I think that I need. No, it's really important to come prepared, and to actually be data driven. So if there is something at the moment that is not being recorded and that is not following through with data, it's going to be very hard to convince a CRO to say, can you open resources for me? So my advice and my recommendation is to track everything and then to come up with um, solutions that you believe and will prove to be successful for you and for your department. It's very hard. I know. I'm not saying yeah, just I know it's hard, but I mean data is very important. Selling what you're doing is very important, and timeline. Also the thing is, you need to, if you say that you want to achieve this in that timeline, you need to deliver it. And so yeah, then it goes into implementing the right framework and everything that's needed to make it happen.
That's
Maybe
super
there's
clear.
someone internally as well, like a champion, someone
Yeah,
who actually is on your side and believes in partnership. So, maybe take that person on and try to speak to that person first. I think there are ways to convey the buy-in by finding also, associations within the business, and people who really believe that it could happen. It's
that's
true.
that's true. It
Perfect.
works.
We
It works.
actually have the first question from the
Mhm.
audience. Eva, George is asking you, which partners recruitment channels have proven most effective for you in B2B partnerships?
Okay, that's a good question. I would say recruitment, it's there are different type of partnerships, right? So there you have of partnerships of partners. You have the integration ones, you have the referrals one, the affiliates, and so these people are not on the same channel. So to in order to find them, you need to go back to the customer, and it's in terms of acquisition, it's not just shooting in the blank, but it's really the first step is to start with the customer for me. um, so I would do that. I would open the CRM. I would talk to sales teams. I would talk to marketing. I would do that work of really um, being an investigator for partnerships before trying to acquire anything new.
And Eva, this is great because it gives us kind of like the next subtopic, which is basically the defining the success metrics, right? That's super important as
Yeah.
well, and where you actually start. So, because you mentioned that it's all about quality rather than quantity, right?
Yeah, but in terms of metrics, for sure, I think what's lacking is reporting consistency with partnerships and making sure that lead attribution is right, lead exchange is right. That we also are able to visualize the data on how the partnerships are doing in an easy way, in a transparent way for your department, but for the other departments as well. When you have these weekly sales meetings, it's very clear, who is the top sales leader, how much revenue they brought in, and this and that. And I think the partnerships culture and what I was talking earlier about building strategic partnerships is this data driven part is very important. And I think that's the first thing you need to do, that will then help you to also get more resources eventually if you need.
That's super important. Yeah. And I don't know if we
Mm.
have any other questions, but please, if you join late, this is something that you can do. Just ask questions in the chat, and Eva will answer those questions right. Don't wait until the end, okay? So if you have questions on the specific topic, please put it there in the chat. The other thing that we were going to discuss with you, and I think that George has a follow-up question, Tom.
Yes, George has a follow-up. He's asking, which early stage KPIs do you prioritize before partners start generating revenue?
Yes, so early stage KPIs, you still need to do. I mean, it needs to be, lead sharing. How many leads are being sent? It could be, of course, something more partner ops driven. Okay, so has your partner logged into your knowledge base, or like how many touch points there was with you? Um, so partner ops related would be something like that. And then co-marketing campaigns. Was there announcements on both sides that the partnership is effective? I would still implement revenue targets. Partner source revenues, partner influenced revenue, even if it's harder sometimes to uh, contabilize the partner influenced revenue. But basically, it's very important to measure everything and then to see from the moment you started this partnership how it evolved. So if you don't measure that from the beginning, you're going to end up actually not knowing where you are at in 6 months. So I would start with basic KPI about revenue, about partner ops, meaning activation, onboarding, and all of that, and then co-marketing initiatives or co-selling initiatives in any case. Then you can go more granular. So let's say in 6 months to 12 months, you can say, okay, now I want to know in which markets did we generate more revenue with this partner, or in for which segment of customers, for example.
That's really helpful. And I think that
Perfect.
Ruben added something in the chat that it would be nice to share with everyone if maybe you can read that as well,
Yeah,
because it's
sure.
super
So Ruben says, breaking it down per partnership type, this is what works for me. Integrations, ask customers about their tech stack and find commonly used SaaS solutions, referral partners, industry associations, and consulting firms. And I find them usually on LinkedIn. Thank you, Ruben, for this insights.
Hey,
Very
Ruben.
helpful. Also,
Thank you.
another thing, before we move to the next topic, I just wanted to say that there is a CTA button over here, which is the button to sign up for our next webinar, which is happening very soon. So I invite every one of you to sign up for our next webinar, which also is going to be very, very interesting.
Click there. Yeah. So Eva, the next topic is what's the success trifecta? I mean, like this is something that is super key that you implemented for your clients, but can you explain us why it's important and what is it?
So if there would be one thing to remember from maybe this webinar, and something that I use as a central part of almost everything I do in partnerships, is the success trifecta, and it's having in mind the business, meaning you, the customer, and the partner. So you cannot have successful partnerships if the two parties do not bring value to the third one. And it's very important to think what drives value and not just what is nice to have. You don't have to call everybody a partner, actually. You can be selective in your approach of who is the right partner for you, that will get you there together. And so the success trifecta is basically, if the business, meaning you as a business, and the partner work jointly, do you bring enough value for the customer to look at you and be like, yes, I want that solution? And then you move. You say, if the partner works together with the customer, me as a business, do I want to partner with this person based on the customer that he's working with? You know? So I think this is a good way to kind of keep objectives in mind, that you want to build strategic partnerships that will deliver value for you, your partner, and the customer at the end. That's what it is.
Makes a lot of sense
I don't
and
know if it
it's
makes
a
sense.
great
Yeah.
takeaway. I think that it's super important for people to understand that.
Mm.
I don't know, Tom, if we have any other questions so far in the chat,
I
but
don't
I
see
encourage
any other
everyone to
questions.
ask their questions to Eva now that
Don't be
she's here.
shy. Eva will answer your questions.
Alicia has one, I think.
Yeah, Alicia says, when you get lots of requests to partner, what is the best way to assess the potential success factor? Is it simple upfront application process to get main points understood?
Okay, the last part, to get main points understood.
Uh, so is it simple? Is it a simple front up application process to get main points understood?
Hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
so
And the
I
question
think
is,
it's
what is the
very
best
good.
way to? Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah. Go ahead. You can go
no, no,
ahead.
no,
Sorry.
that's fine.
Yeah.
So I understand, when you're overflowing of partnerships requests, who do you prioritize? How? Um, I think in any case, you need to answer to everybody. Like, I mean, I hate it when I go on a partnerships page, I click on become a partner, I make the effort. There's someone who made the effort to actually request to become a partner. So the minimum you can do is to reply to that request. Now, obviously, if you are floating of leads and inbound to become partnerships, you need to implement some qualification methods internally, in order not to actually so that you don't spend time on partners or opportunities that you don't want to. So my recommendation is to try to find frameworks internally that you can build when you receive requests, okay, and that will basically qualify this opportunity or this partner. Um, it's quite simple to do, meaning that you define, but you need to define what's an ideal partner for you, obviously. But when you define that, you have these key metrics. Either you put it upfront on a form in your website, or before jumping into a call, you try to get to know a little bit more about this partner. You make your own research. You can use AI tools to simplify some workflows for you. You can use Zapier to tell you when you have a partner that has exactly the qualifications that you're looking for, so that you decide to prioritize that. Um, so I know it's my I hope my answer is not too vague, but you need to use automation, I think, basically, um, to help you automate some tasks, so that you spend time on the partners that will be essential for your business.
That's a great answer.
Great
It's
answer. Yeah.
super clear. So, how do you go from the trifecta, which is kind of like super clear now, in terms of like actually doing the actual stuff? Which I think it's the next subtopic, which is
Mhm.
the partnership ops, right? Like, how do you actually get the result from them?
So I think we squeezed in, we didn't talk about the IPP so much, but I'm just going to say one thing about that, because the reason why also we build a success trifecta is to find the right uh, partners for you. And a lot of companies, I think, miss the fact that it's not because you have your competitor working with this partner, or your competitor who has this beautiful landing page and that says we work with consultants and this and that, that they are actually successful with their partnerships. Success with partnerships starts with finding the right partner. And so I really believe that you need to make this investigative work within the company, to analyze and to become, this FBI agent, whatever, that talks to customers, that talks to sales team, that talks to marketing, that talks to product, and that has the company goal in mind, meaning what you're trying to achieve as a company, to fit in to that description. And when you have that description in place, that needs, can be really granular. There can be obviously some adjustments with time, but you try to, speak to as many people as possible, so that you will actually understand how you can resolve pain points and have the right messaging for these partners. Once you have that, you go into your CRM as well, and you start to have some plays and some joint value proposition when you target them. It will be just so much easier than, let's say, shooting in the blank. We need to work with consultancies because we had a consultant partner working really well with us. Okay, but that's, for me, that doesn't work. I've been doing countless of, you know reactive partner acquisition like that, just on the fact that there was one thing that was working, and that just simply never worked out for me, that this potential partner profile actually is the one that will help me generate value for my business, revenue for my business, and all of that. So I just wanted to say that in terms of IPP, that it needs to be also transparent within the business. Who are the one, two, three type of companies, whether they are tech, whether they are referral, whether they are an affiliate, that is gonna be the one that's gonna drive results for you. Um, and then, just focus on that. The rest has other priorities.
I love that. I love the analogy of being the FBI and spending time on defining that. I think that it's critical, and it goes back to the second
Yeah,
point.
that's one.
That's the success
Mhm.
metrics will be part of the if you define well the IPP, you will actually get those
Yeah.
results. So well said.
Actually, we have a
And
Yeah.
question
yeah, George has
again
another
from
question, right?
George. Yeah. He's asking, in your experience, what drives faster partner activation, training or financial incentives?
Alors, so activation, um, not financial incentive, I can already say. A lot of clients I've worked with are asking me, oh, I don't know if I should have 15% or 20% for partners. It's not going to be a game changer whether you have 25, 20. Once again, it needs to be the joint value. If you want to treat partners as real partners, it needs to come from a mutual and strong value added. So to reply to your question also, and coming back to the activation or training, I think this is a very important step. But instead of doing the education training, do the real activation. And there is a nuance there, because an activation is, instead of sending a cool 10-minute video to describe what your product does, it's sending a 10-minute video on how to reply to sales objection during a sales call with a potential client. And that makes the whole difference, because you are going to help your partner do something and not just be and engage, and not just be very much like digesting content and looking at videos that will not bring him extra results or extra success. So activation training, very important. Just really try to make it like as actionable as possible, and as sales product or marketing actionable, and not just um, you know training, boring training, because no one has the time also to train too much. So it needs to be to the point.
I I love that. That's a great takeaway. Make it actionable and make it easier for your partners to actually go and sell. So that's a great takeaway. I think that
Yeah.
Alicia has another question, Tom.
Exactly. So Alicia is asking, what do you see as a valuable rewards a vendor can offer, and how should a reward be attributed? How important is the vendor giving exposure to the partner?
Hmm. So I believe that there's no one size fits all in partnerships. So what your partners want, from a general perspective, and from what I heard a lot, is business, is projects. Then you have the ones who are okay to be an affiliate and receive a commission, because these guys are doing a lot of content, they are pros in what they are doing, they know that what they are going to create is actually going to bring them revenue. um, the referral partners, in my opinion, you never know, like it could be one company or one person sending you just one lead, okay, and that's it. And it should be okay also to do that. So the strategical aspect of my work is to have a very go-to-market approach with your partners. So have an approach that where you're going to develop a joint message together, and then whether it's through marketing, webinar, podcast, um, but most importantly, going and find customers, opening your CRM and saying, okay, I have 3 prospects that are almost ready to close, and that I will need your help to do that with. That's where, that's the job. That's also that, and that's a part that will drive revenue for the business. So um, if you can, I hope I replied to the question, because now I lost a little bit my thoughts. But
It was super clear. It was super clear, and I love the
yeah,
fact that it
okay.
was linked to the last topic, which is go to market, which is something that it's super important. And maybe you can give a recap of that, Eva, because I think that you wanted to kind of like double down on that.
Yeah, so the go-to-market phase, it should be the fun phase. Actually, it should be the phase where you're really starting to create mutual success, a plan with your partners. What are we doing? Who is the target? How are we going to position ourselves? And actually, this is something that should be done jointly. And I've seen too many companies thinking that because partners have signed an agreement, that they shouldn't be present in that moment, that oh no, it's a reseller, they're supposed to sell and market our product, so I'm not doing anything. No, actually, these are conversations that are very important from a strategical level, and that you need to have in order to create these real go-to-market motions. So go-to-market is number one, planning with partners. who are we going after, how, and what are the goals that we're trying to achieve with that. The second thing is continuing and hammering on the enablement for the sales, so they are aware of, who are the partners to have in top of mind, um, what they do, how they do it, how they can bring partners into a discussion. So very important. That's part for me of go to market, the enablement. Um, and the third thing is, creating all these activities around that are not, let's say, monetary, going to events together, making sure that, there is a good vibe between the teams, inviting them to join like a lunch with the team on Friday, because whatever. So that's, of course, the relationship building. That's the essence of partnerships. And that's also why partners love you and love to send you leads and do business with you. It's because they are part of your team, and they love working with you.
Well said, Eva. I think that you wrapped it up really well because it's
Yeah,
all
really
about that
well.
mutual value, right? It's all about people. Everyone that is in partnerships know this, and I think that it's great that you wrap it up with that.
And
We
we're
are
right
on
on time,
time.
actually.
Yes, I
Yeah.
think that John. Oh, very interesting, right? If anyone has any other questions for Eva, right, this is the moment because then, if not, we will wrap it up. If you have any questions, please put them in the chat. And again, if you join late, everyone that joined or everyone that registered will get an ebook from Eva afterwards with a lot of case studies and actionable insights. So keep an eye on that. And then also one lucky winner that was live today will get the session with Eva, the partnership audit. So also keep
Hmm.
an eye on that. And yeah, you can also sign up to our next webinar, which is in 2 weeks. So that's with Marta
Yeah.
from Surf. So please sign up if you want to get also more value from these sessions. And yeah, Eva, I don't know if you have any final kind of like thoughts or ideas. And again, I want to thank you on behalf of the Kiflo team for being here, for all the value. And I think that people in chat are also thanking because they appreciate it.
Thank you so much. No, I was really happy to be invited. To wrap this up, remember, guys, like, think about the trifecta. Do you bring really value to your partners, with your customer, and all of that? Work strategically with the partners that will bring the most to your business. Try to automate the rest, the repetitive tasks that are taking too much time, that you shouldn't focus on, so you can build meaningful partnerships and relationships. I'll send you personally tomorrow, each of you guys, so the Bond Collective ebook. I just wanted to touch base on the Bond Collective. Basically, with Bond, we have an association of partnership leaders. We've all worked in SaaS, in fast-paced companies, and so on. And we've decided to create an organization where, if you have a partnerships issue, if you feel that you want to get more out of partnerships, that we can help. And obviously, together we are stronger. So that's why we decided to create this little group all together. And there are very talented people in there who also have a lot to say about partnerships. So please feel free to reach out to any of us. Mhm.
Thank you. We love that, Eva. We love the collective and we love Bond. So again,
Cool.
people are throwing love in the chat. So I think that they really valued. So thank you again for your time. And
Thank you
again,
so much.
thank you everyone for joining live. And if you're watching this recorded, please make sure that you can next time you can join live so you'll get a chance to get the giveaways and also to ask your questions and get the answers. Okay. So thank you so much and we'll see you in
Thanks
the
a
next
Thank
lot,
one.
you.
guys. See you in the next one.
Bye. Thank you
Bye.
so much.
Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Bye.